Command. Intro. And hello, real estate fans and friends all over America. It's time for another live edition of The Real Estate Show. We are South Florida's #1 program about real estate. We are America's longest running daily radio show all about the topic of real estate. So I want to welcome all of you to our Live by 5. I like to say coming at you 5 days a week at 5 p.m., 5 different ways. Now, what are those 5 ways? Well, on our AM 1470 station locally, where we started this show, on our FM station, 95.3, 96.9, 106.9, and then third, on the apps, the free apps that you can download, such as the iHeartRadio app, very, very well known, the TuneIn app, the radio.com app, the Spreaker app, and the list actually goes on from there. But on those apps, you just have to search for WWNN, and you'll see the Money Talk Radio. Tune in at 5 o'clock, and you'll hear this voice right here. The fourth way is on our website at automaticlandlord.com. That's automaticlandlord.com, where you can click and listen to this show as we stream it at the same time, live at 5 on our website. And a whole bunch of other information on there. You can also contact us on that website at automaticlandlord.com. And the fifth way, which is not the final way, believe it or not, but the fifth way is also on Facebook. We broadcast this show live every day on Facebook, and you can catch us there and watch us as well as listen to us. Drop us a comment, give us a like, a thumbs up, ask a question. It's our more interactive way of sharing what goes on to the radio show. Well, here we are live at 5, the 5th day in a row where we've been sharing our information about landlords. Now, every Monday we start off the week. We lay out the theme, the concept, the thought of the week. And this week we've been talking about landlording, and we've been talking about what it is to be a landlord today, the challenges, but also the opportunities, why it makes sense to be a landlord. And I want to tell you that if you do this right, the automatic landlord way, that being a landlord is a very personally rewarding. After all, we're providing affordable housing to deserving American families. We're taking part in the American dream and scaling it up as we buy 1 rental property, 2 rental properties, 3 rental properties. And when you use the automatic landlord strategies, you can scale this up in a way that you can own real estate profitably, hassle-free, headache-free. And so we talked about all of the pros, and then, of course, what some of the challenges are, especially now with the moratoriums and the pandemic. By the way, this week was also a very interesting week. We celebrated the 1 year, what I call the pandiversary. 1 year, March 11th, when the World Health Organization declared the pandemic a worldwide pandemic. And that's when the country began basically freezing in its tracks. Unemployment shot through the roof, and many job layoffs. The shelter in place became the concept for the month of March. And it was rough. It was rough going. And what's kind of neat about this, now all of our shows are recorded, so you can go back and listen to these shows not only for this last week, but also for the last several years. And if you were to go back, for example, on March 11th, when we were talking about the pandemic, and we gave out what turned out to be very good advice here on the Real Estate Show. We were talking about, not just locking yourself down in your house, but lock down your finances, put a freeze on what you're spending, save some gunpowder for a rainy day. And we kind of laid out a plan. And then slowly we started saying, okay, what's the next step? Now, if you had stayed in lockdown for the whole year, you might look back and say, it was a lost year. And for some people, I think it was a lost year. But for many other people, it's been a phenomenal year. You know that printers have been having a field day, printing masks, printing the signs, putting out the plexiglass dividers. The worldwide pandemic really, in retrospect, was a worldwide accelerator. If you had a great business, it accelerated. We talked throughout the year about different business opportunities, including real estate, that have had nothing but a rapid rise and very good returns. If you were in the wrong business, theaters and public gathering things, those were an accelerator in the opposite direction. And hopefully, one of the things that I think a lot of people learned is, the old assumption that having a steady job was security. Many people found out that that was exactly not the case, and that the real security is in having a plan B. If you have multiple streams of income, if you have a plan B, and one of the engines misfires, you've got other engines to fall back on. And I hope that through the months that you've paid attention, taken advantage of our masterminds, of our workshops. Most recently, we've had the university series. Last night, we had a great university series. In fact, in a minute, I'm going to give out our smart text line. We recorded last night's workshop that was all about speaking about accelerating, was showing how to accelerate yourself out of debt and into more equity. And for landlords, what we talked about last night is nothing but gold. So if you're interested in a copy of that recording, just text the word equity to 561-861-2366. That's 561-861-2366, and we'll get you a copy of that link for last night's workshop if you missed it. It's a little bit under an hour long, and we talked about some pretty cool concepts. And I think once you watch that, you might even have more questions and want to learn more about it. This is something that every real estate owner, whether you own your own personal residence or whether you own a rental property or several rental properties, I'm going to show you. And when you watch that video, you're going to see what an incredible tool that can be. And it's something that's very simple and very easy to implement, that to not do it would be simply to throw away a great opportunity. So on Monday, we set the agenda, we set the theme, we talked about landlording, we talked about the why be a landlord, why now is particularly a good time to be a landlord. And I suspect that there's going to be a window of opportunity to jump in the landlord business if you're ready. Now, as I like to say, it's not the big that eat the small anymore in the real estate market, because there's some big players. The old, this is all the world of a mom and pops is no longer the case. There are big players in there. But it's not just about being the big player in the marketplace anymore. It's about being the agile, the adaptive, the knowledgeable player in the marketplace. Because today, I'll tell you, it's not the big that eat the small. It's the fast that eat the slow and that gobble up these opportunities. And when that window of opportunity opens up, which it will, when they release the moratoriums. Now, we talked about that in this week as well, when they're going to release the moratoriums. So if you missed that, that was on our midweek report on Wednesday. So let's talk about a couple of things first of all. Number one, make sure that you write down our smart text line, 561-861-2366. Plug it into your phone. There'll be times where you'll want to use it. I'll mention text this word or that keyword to it. And if you want the free information, if you want the free invitations to our different workshops, we got a whole new set of workshops lining up for next week. Here we are Friday. On Monday, we had the Equity Accelerator workshop. On Tuesday, we had our Credit Builder workshop. On Thursday, we had our university series, again, talking about the Equity Accelerator in the landlording context, how this really benefits those of you who own real estate. But really, anybody who has $20,000 or more in debt ought to be requesting the video. Again, if you want the video, text equity to 561-861-2366. And so those are the workshops on top of our 5 live shows. And don't forget also Sundays, starting at 9 p.m., we have our real estate show marathon starting at 9 p.m. You can listen to each one of the shows in sequence back to back so that you can get your full dose of vitamin real estate. And so then Tuesday, what happened Tuesday? Tuesday is our tools, tips, and techniques. And so we started talking about we got into the details of landlording. We got into how to get started, what to look for, and some of those different areas. Again, you can listen to all of these shows. They're all recorded both on our website at Automatic Landlord. It's also on our Facebook page in chronological order. Every day we post that up there, and you can watch the video and see also the comments that happen and so forth in there. And then, well, you know what we're going to do is let's go ahead and take a quick break, get a few words in from our sponsors. When I come back, I want to go to the midweek report. And this was, I think, a key day of the week. That, of course, was when we go into the news arena and then we look at what happened. Now, what was the big news of the week? I think the biggest news of the week was the fact that the $1.9 trillion stimulus package was approved. In fact, ahead of schedule. The president was supposed to sign it today. He signed it yesterday. He wanted to get that thing out there. And in that package are some benefits for landlords, homeowners, and renters out there. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We went more into that in the Wednesday and the Thursday show, which was the anniversary of the pandemic. Today, probably the big news is one more time the Dow Jones has hit another record high. It was up 290 points today to finish the day in a mixed market because what did we see? We saw stock market go higher. And why did the stock market go higher? We'll come back when we come back from our break, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. You're listening to The Real Estate Show. My name is Eric Willner. I'm your host. Don't touch that dial because we got a lot more great information for you right here. So we'll be right back right after these words. Hey, Felipe. And that's not even just a half of it. How's California doing? You guys are starting to open up a bit too as well, aren't you? I hear that at least they keep threatening to open it up. I'm doing great, Felipe. Thank you. Doing really good. It's amazing how fast this week went. In fact, it's amazing how fast this year. Can you believe that Monday will be March 15th? March 15th. So that's one of your tax deadlines, which means that April 15th is only a month away. Quick, quick, quick. Little by little, one step at a time. And welcome back. For those of you just joining us here, you're listening to The Real Estate Show. South Florida's #1 program about real estate, America's longest running daily radio show about real estate. Heard not only here in South Florida, but across the country and actually across the pond around the world as well. Now, thanks to the convenience of the internet, between the apps that we were talking about, our live streaming on our website at automaticlandlord.com, where you can listen to not only our live show 5 days a week at 5 p.m. Eastern time, but also the rebroadcasts. All of our shows are up there. They're archived, and they're usually up there within 24 hours. So if you go there, you should hear from yesterday, and you can go back as far as you like. And there's lots of other information throughout the website. Our first-time home buyer information is now up on our website. You can drop us a line, drop us a message, send us a question, all there at automaticlandlord.com. And now we're going to be developing our automatic landlord. We're actually going to be putting it up piece by piece there on our website as well. So this is great information and how you can have really a tremendous experience being a landlord. There's no better investment vehicle out there. Real estate is and continues to be the ideal investment. I was talking to a good friend of mine who runs a large real estate operation in Brazil. And we were talking about how real estate is not only location, 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 but real estate is also all about timing, 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 which makes a lot of sense, especially in a marketplace like what we're talking about, where the market is moving, the stock market, as I mentioned right before the break, the Dow Jones just hit another all-time record high, up 290 points. We got the stimulus approved this week. So there's another $1.9 trillion getting ready to fall into the market. It's going to fall into the market from lots of different directions. The airlines are getting a huge boost. Landlords are getting a boost. Every American taxpayer is getting a boost of at least the $1,400. If there are more family members, then it's a multiple of that $1,400. And so all that money means that's more money that's going to be going into the economy, and the stock market likes that. It knows that means that there's going to be more money in the savings, more paying off debt, more spent in the economy, more consumption. So those are good things. Also, the optimism about the states opening up and opening back up the economy, reducing the mask requirements, opening up travel abilities. And all that means more activity. You're going to see the economy, which did surprisingly well, remarkably resilient throughout this pandemic. And I think we're going to go down in history as being the shortest pandemic, the fastest recovery. And again, remember I said the pandemic was really the great accelerator. Look what it did for accelerating in the area of medicine. Look what it did for accelerating in the area of technology. Now, many businesses are allowing their workers to continue to work at home. We're seeing a rotation in the real estate market, especially in the commercial market. This is going to be a very interesting next several months as we see both the residential market have its own internal rotation, but people will always need a place to live. Office space, well, now our homes are our gyms, our offices, our classrooms, and whatever else we decide to make it. Now, what our office is going to be? Our office is going to take on more of a residential aspect on it? Is it going to be more mixed use? Are you going to see redevelopment of what used to be an old concept in real estate? Like I said, it's not just location, location, location. It's going to be timing, timing, timing. What is the best use for these times? And we're going to be talking about that in the coming weeks. We're going to continue our conversation about the landlording. And by the way, that's one of the reasons why we also said this week that we're expanding our team here. We are looking for, number one, we're looking for an intern. In fact, again, using the same number, 561-861-2366. If you're interested in joining on an internship with the radio show, then type the word or text the word intern to 561-861-2366. We're looking for a social media marketer, somebody with creative design skills and content strategy skills to join our radio show. We want to get the word out to more people. And you're going to see with some of the specific stuff that we're going to talk about for landlords, where to get the relief money, how to apply, how to work with your tenant, because it's not going to be just the tenants without the landlords, and it's not going to be the landlords without the tenants. There's going to be a joint effort required in order to get the benefits there. And so we're going to talk about those processes, those methods in our show this coming week as we finish digesting and growing the list of where we go. Now, what we're looking for in our intern is somebody that's going to be able to be working remotely. So we're going to continue just like the most advanced companies out there that allow you to work remotely. But we're looking to someone who has the skills proficiency in either Photoshop or Canva and other similar design tools, because we want to make our social media present reach out there across all of the platforms, not just Facebook like what we have right now. And so you'll see the Real Estate Show expand its reach and its touch out there and get more information out there. We'll be able to have more of our workshops, and this is going to be the place where you're going to want to come. If you're tired of the latest in and out of town guy coming in, peddling his wares, and then leaving you to flounder in real estate, if you're tired of trying the old concepts but not practical things, this is where you want to tune it in, right here on the Real Estate Show. And so again, intern, if you're somebody that knows a bit about real estate, or if you want to learn about real estate but you know a lot about the social media platforms, there's going to be a great opportunity for an internship there. So check it out. Again, intern, text it to 561-861-2366. So jumping back into our weekly wrap up, we talked about our Monday on a mission, our Tuesday tools, tips, and techniques, solving the landlord puzzle. Then we talked about being a landlord in America right now with the pandemic, with the moratoriums on evictions and so forth. We talked about that in the context of being able to create better cash flow with the low rates that are going on right now. Although, again, on our midweek report, we talked about interest rates, what happened to them recently. You saw that the 2% rates out the window now. If you were hesitating and waiting, then you waited a little bit too long. If you're looking at the 3% rates, still there, but how much longer? If the pressure continues on, high demand, low supply, what that spells for real estate are higher prices. And if you have higher prices and higher interest rates, guess what's going to be the next issue that we're going to talk a lot about? We're not going to be talking just about inventory shortages. We're going to talk about the issue of affordable housing, which is why, we talked about the last 3 weeks. Remember, last week we talked about the income factor, the key element in buying real estate. The week before that, we talked about the down payment factor and the down payment assistance programs. And if you want to learn more about some of the down payment assistance programs while they last, because, when the money runs out, type the word DPA, down payment assistance, type DPA and text it to 561-861-2366. Then we went to our Thursday show. Now, Thursday was a lot of fun. It's always one of the most interesting topics because Thursday is our ATM edition of the Real Estate Show. Now, remember, the show in its entirety is always available. Go to automaticlandlord.com. You can listen to the show in its entirety if you missed it. If you didn't miss it, or if you did miss it and you want to take some notes here, we talked about the freedom that being a landlord can create for somebody. Creates income, creates tax-advantaged income. It creates tax advantage on income even not from landlording. It creates equity buildup a number of different ways. In fact, there's 3 different ways that you can build up equity in a property. Through the forced equity, I improve the property. The systematic equity buildup through the pay down of the mortgage through the systematic payments usually made by your tenants in a landlord's situation. And you also have the appreciation factor that goes into there. And I had my friend and fellow entrepreneur, fellow real estate investor, Don Martin, on the show on Thursday when we were talking about why having that plan B, why having those multiple streams of income is so important in this particular day and age. And so that was a great show. Again, don't miss it if you did. Remember, you can either catch up on our Sunday night marathon starting at 9 p.m. where we run all of our shows for the week. You can go to Automatic Landlord right there and download the podcast version, or just listen to it right there online, the previous versions. And you know what? We're going to start this whole process all over again with all new, fresh, late material on Monday. So make sure that you join us then again when we're live at 5 days a week, 5 different ways. Well, that's it for today. The music is coming in, so I'm out of here. This is Eric Willner, your host of the Real Estate Show, signing off. Until then, drive safe, wash those hands, and make it a great day. Bye-bye. All right, then. Thanks, sir.